and today we'll be talking about Jeanette. Now, this is my last evolution of the Chipettes overall. So, we're already done Brittany and we're already done Eleanor. So, this is my last one of Jeanette. So, at the end, I'll explain what they should do with the Chipettes for the reboot next, as well as conclusion as well. So, let's talk about Jeanette, shall we? And as Jeanette appears a lot of 80s later on, you kind of see a different design of her. Kind of like that cute nerd. I like how they put the bow in their hair at the end. I thought that was a nice touch. And also, they gave her a different eye color as well. Her eyes are green in this version, I think, from what I've seen. But I like how they kind of updated her from the animation to the 80s, even though it's still cartoon in that regard as well. She appears in Squeakle, very cute, stylized in their hair. In this scene, you can see I just watched the Squeakle, in fact, just the other day, because I wasn't feeling well, and I need a movie to cheer me up, so I put the Squeakle on to watch. And I did not notice, if you get a closer look at her pupils are kind of dilated from that scene when she meets Simon for the first time. So I'm like, that's a really good attention to detail as well. Also, she does appear in Chipwrecked. She's going to be a role in Chipwrecked, as we've seen from the movie as well. So we all know Jeanette gets captured by Zoe as well from Chipwrecked as well. And she, ties her up, puts a rope around her whole chest area, and she puts her down a hole to get the treasure as well. I did a poll a while ago saying, what's the worst thing you could do? And I put 3 options, and most of you guys said, being eaten alive, because the Chipettes in the Squeakle, were being threatened to be eaten by Ian Hawke, as you guys know as well. Like, that's probably the worst. Like, who would taste cannibal chipmunk, although they are vegetarians. Are chipmunks vegetarians? I'm not sure. But cannibal chipmunks are not, I don't think they taste good, basically. So, Jeanette does get saved by Simon, but I would have liked that to be changed, basically. Because in the movie, Simon's like, Brittany's like, you gotta go save Jeanette. And he's like, no, I won't. I'm like, what? Simon, she's in danger. She's clearly gonna get herself killed. If he didn't save her, that's actually funny. What if Simon didn't actually save her and she kind of died by his hands? Oh my god, that would be so funny. I saw a video a while ago that someone made Jeanette pretend to die off that scene when she's on the bridge of a log. I thought that was so funny. But I would have preferred if maybe I know Al was going to save her anyway, but I would prefer if Brittany saved her. Or herself, get yourself out of there, Jeanette, because we are in a world today where female empowerment is, coming to play, and I would have liked to see a sisterly moment between Brittany and Jeanette, Brittany saving Jeanette, basically. That would have been cool. Why did they do that? Again, possibilities, y'all. So, why did they do that? That's a good question, because Brittany was on the run for most of it, so she's kind of benched, so I'm like, Jeanette, I'm like, Brittany, please save your sister. So I would have liked that. Or option B would be Alvin would go with Brittany as well to go and save Jeanette, rather than someone being the heroic one and saving him herself, even though Alvin does help save Jeanette as well. But I would prefer females doing it, female straight empowerment. So Jeanette does appear roasted, but her role is a bit smaller here as well, although I like the design of Jeanette here as well. I said in my last video about Eleanor, I like the design of the Chipettes here, especially with Eleanor and Jeanette. Perfection. Let's talk about Jeanette in the 2015 show. We'll discuss later on some bits I don't like about Jeanette in the 2015 series, but overall, I do like her design here, even though she's human and it makes me creep out a bit. I think we're all like that. I'm like, what happened to the Chipmunks? I don't know. Anyway, moving on. So we do get an episode of Jeanette. It's her birthday, obviously. And I'm like, okay, so wait a minute. This is so confusing. I don't know why they keep confusing us fans. Because if Jeanette has a birthday, because they're triplets, right? So wouldn't that make Brittany, Jeanette, and Eleanor have a birthday together instead of Jeanette having a birthday together? That puts it into question a bit. I'm not sure what's going on there as well. That's a bit weird. Like, why does Jeanette have her own birthday, but they're triplets? Triplets don't have separate birthdays. Triplets are born at the same time, and they have the same birthday. So, I don't know why that is. I have a different persona a bit. Like, Jeanette is more into magic and fantasy, and I kind of like that for Jeanette as well. Also, she does science as well, because she's a nerd, of course. She does science in the cartoon 80s as well, as we've seen as well from the show as well. That's interesting. Like, I think she's more, I think the difference between Simon and Jeanette is more of the clumsy one. But also, I think Jeanette has different levels. Like, there are different personas of smartness. Like, you can be smart in creativeness. You can be smart in, like, numbers and maths, basically. But I think Jeanette is more smart in creativeness and inventiveness. And I would like that to play that more into the series, but they don't. Now, Jeanette can be a little bit very tough. And Jeanette's not supposed to have I understand what they're trying to do, but you're doing it in the wrong way. And sometimes I feel like she's kind of a bit angry. Jeanette's not really an angry character. Like, there's no angriness towards her. As well as a character, but I think they need to change that. I understand they want to be the same level between Simon and Jeanette, but Simon and Jeanette are two completely different opposites from each other, you know? Jeanette is kind and sweet, and Simon's more of the sarcastic and the smart one. So you've got two polar opposites there. So I don't know why they would make Jeanette more a strong character. I get what they're trying to do, but they're doing it in the wrong direction. If you're a really big Simon and Jeanette fan, I have to tell you, I'm being completely honest, this is not the same Simon and Jeanette you once knew from Chipwrecked. No way, it's a completely different relationship as well. I don't know why they would change their relationship as well. I think they're trying to be more like the Alvin and Brittany version of them, but Simon and Jeanette are completely different. Like, I think they're trying to give nuance to their relationship. Like, you know, sometimes relationships do argue a lot. But Alvin and Brittany, see, the difference between Alvin and Brittany and Simon and Jeanette, Alvin and Brittany had that love-hate relationship, which is very infamous and very iconic, as we all know. And if you put that to Simon and Jeanette, it doesn't really work the same way. Like, you know, it's a bit of a disaster. But I get what they're trying to do. Like, Simon and Jeanette can still have a fight now and then, but they don't have to be the same as Alvin and Brittany. You know, Alvin and Brittany are completely different to Simon and Jeanette. Simon and Jeanette do get along better, as well. I mean, I guess it depends on who you are, but I don't think Simon and Jeanette get on that well, if you get what I mean. But yeah, but their relationship is not the same as Chipwrecked. So they gave a bit of nuance as well, and they've made I wouldn't say new characters, but in the episode, I can't remember what episode it was. It's about Gizmo. So yeah, so there's Jeanette with Gizmo. So that's Gizmo right there. Oh, look how cute they are. You know, someday if Jeanette became a parent, I think she'd be a great mother. Someday. I'm not sure if Simon will be a great dad. From what we've seen later in the show with Gizmo and him, he's just not the patient type. But she is pretty patient, so yeah. Also, Jeanette creates her own robot. That's a bit weird to say. Anyway, moving on. So Jeanette creates her own robot named Zila as well. What a pretty name, Zila. That's an interesting choice for a name. I wonder how she came with that name as well. Also, the thing that gets me the most with Jeanette is so clever. She doesn't give herself any credit to herself, which is kind of sad and disappointing to see. But she made a talking robot that has feelings. That's insane. Simon even couldn't do that to Gizmo. So I'm like, that's insane. How did she pull that off? You know, because robots, when you think about robots, they don't have feelings. So how would she do that? That's insane. But good on her, you know. As we all know, Jeanette can be a bit clumsy, and in the 80s, she was a bit clumsy. In 2015 show, not so much. I mean, there was one episode revolving around her being clumsiness, but it was just one per episode. Like, with Jeanette, I think they've taken out the clumsiness of her essence, because that's really part of Jeanette. So if you don't have that, then you count it on any other skills that she has. And unfortunately, Jeanette doesn't have a lot of skills to play with at this point. So I would really like it if they put the clumsiness back into Jeanette, because Jeanette can be clumsy, you know, and I think they're kind of missing that in her essence as well, because I really love clumsy Jeanette. Like, I can be clumsy sometimes. I hit myself sometimes in the wall or something, or do something to myself, so I'm a bit clumsy myself. So I would have liked more clumsy Jeanette and not take that away from her character, because I think that stands out from all the other characters as well. Also, I really like the callback of her playing Sherlock, well, a female Sherlock, because this is the 21st century now. But this reminds me of the elementary My Dear Simon, the parody movie of that. I think it was a movie. Because Simon plays a Sherlock in that movie as well. It's nice to see that Jeanette also gets to play a female Sherlock, so I kind of like the difference between that as well. So let's talk about the relationship between Jeanette and Brittany. I like Alvin. I like Alvin, who does apologize for his mistakes. Brittany is quite the opposite when it comes to that. This is going to be the 80s version of Brittany, because Brittany, same here, same plot here, really wants to be popular. She doesn't care about anyone's feelings. You know, she's a bit selfish, a bit spoilt. As well when it comes to that as well from the 80s as well. So there's a lot of 80s 2015 version in Brittany. So Brittany does apologize at the end, but Jeanette forgives her. I'm like, Jeanette, how many times are you going to forgive Brittany for this? Brittany has done you wrong. She's done you terribly. She doesn't care about you. All she cares about is herself. And that's Brittany for you in a nutshell. And that's true. You know, Brittany only cares about herself, and that's true. She might care about sisters, but she's no way compared to Alvin. Alvin does care about his brothers, as we discussed before. So, yeah. So, in the episode, my favorite Chipette is I think this is a callback to the 80s, because they did do this back in the 80s version of this. So, Jeanette gets Alvin into a beauty pageant, and obviously Brittany's entering it, of course. So, at the, Brittany and Jeanette, well, Alvin kind of, can I say Alvin makes the fight happen? I guess so, although Brittany and Jeanette have been fighting for ages now, since the 80s, so you can't really blame Alvin for that. But yeah, they do forgive. Brittany apologizes to Jeanette about it, and they see the sun together. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet, but this doesn't change a thing between them. I really like more of Jeanette and Brittany kind of getting along, but unfortunately they never go there as we expected to as well. Let's talk about the Chipettes as a whole now. So, what do I want next from the Chipettes? I just want more of them, basically. Like, I don't care. Like, I would really like a Chipette spin-off show or something. We've talked about that. Or like a movie or something. Or something on the lines like that. Like, I would really like a backstory to how they came to Hollywood. Something like that. Although they did that in the 80s, although they probably might think to themselves, Ori, we're not going to retell that story. So maybe that's why they didn't do that. But I like more on the lines of something of the Chipettes. As well in the future as well. Like, I'm sick of them getting benched. They need to do more. I want that for them as well. As for the personalities, Brittany can stay the same, but just put more nuance to her. Aldo and Jeanette, they need Aldo doesn't need no more nuance. She needs to be toned down a bit. But as for Jeanette, I really love Jeanette to come into her own and be a bit more stronger instead of this weak character all the time that I see. So I commented a while ago, when I did this channel at the beginning, I was doing like a little Chipmunk episodes a while ago. So I commented saying, that's not Jeanette. I'm like, it's my perspective. I personally feel like Jeanette's a very strong character. But they never showed that in the movies or the TV show or even the 80s. So I'd really love her to come into her own as a character. Kind of the level of Simon and Alvin. I would like that to be the thing. And, Eleanor being a bit more naive. I think that kind of works for them. So overall, Jeanette, like all the other characters that we discussed, Jeanette needs more nuance in her than taking her back a bit. So more nuance to her. So that's all I've got time for, guys. What do you think of my evolution of the Chipettes? What do you want next for the Chipettes? Let me know in the comments, guys. Make sure to like, share, subscribe to most video, guys.